Welcome along. Glad you are with us here. We are underway with our Friday edition of Longshore and McKnight. John is, he's got some light streaming across him.
Woo,
I believe
yeah.
you're in
I might be.
Washington, D.C.
I am. I am in
Okay.
Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
this morning and trying to
Right.
get situated here. I've had some internet issues. I had a little help this morning, but all's good.
Here
And
we
we're going
go.
to get it. We're going to get it working here today from the nation's capital. A little chilly up here, Barry, no doubt about it, but a
Hey.
beautiful day here. So, and a lot to talk about here on this Friday. I've been thinking in my travels about just how big tomorrow is going to be up in Tuscaloosa.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were spending a lot of time thinking about how big Sunday is going to be down in Daytona, but no, that
Not yet. No, not quite.
Not yet. John is in Washington, D.C. I am in Jonesboro, Arkansas, after, believe me, a long day of travel yesterday. I am in what I think it's a Hilton Garden Inn, or it's a Holiday Inn Estates. Or, where am I? Yeah, Hilton Garden Inn. Doesn't look like John's in a Hilton Garden Inn to me. It's a little bit different there. But we've both been traveling. We both have been have been moving around, and now we're situated here. Glad to be here. Goodness, yeah. It's a big day tomorrow, and fellas.
Yep, I'm
let me
kind
go ahead and
I'm kind of moving as we talk. And it is a big day tomorrow.
Yep.
As I mentioned, I was kind of thinking a lot about that on my travels, just how big number one versus number two is going to be tomorrow in Tuscaloosa. College game day. I mean, the whole deal. I mean, we've never seen anything like this.
It's also tomorrow, as you probably get in front of the TV. A lot of you are going to be there. I'd love to know how many of you are going to be there, but you'll want to, I don't know, sleep well tonight. Not in the lawnmower shed, not on the couch. Make sure. Yeah, Theodis, you're right. It's a big day today, and we do know what you mean. Make sure you take care of the little lady today. Before I get any further, very happy anniversary to my beautiful wife, Dee. Happy anniversary. Happy Valentine's Day to my beautiful wife, Dee. She is an absolute jewel. Guys, don't forget her. Don't forget her. You want to have a happy home life, or you want to have a stress-free day and a romantic night. John and Barry, Longshore and McKnight are here to tell you right now, don't forget her on Valentine's Day. Today's big for you. Don't mess it up.
I got up a little early today. I know you find that hard to believe. Had a little coffee, a little something to eat, and I got a text that said something about Valentine's. I went, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I immediately texted my wife, who was still asleep, but she didn't know. But when she wakes up, she'll see that I sent this very heartfelt Valentine greeting today because I
he's a big softie.
Missed.
He is.
But I did miss that. Exactly. Yes, I am in the Eastern time zone, Bill. The show is not half over because it's still it's the 7 o'clock hour in the Central time zone, but it is in the 8 o'clock hour where I am for hour number one here on Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. As with anything, Barry, I thought that I had everything figured out, but I did not have the right password to join in this morning. But I got that taken. I will give you a little brief, just a little how my morning went. Seeing the countdown clock,
it's such a struggle.
I think I had everything going, and I couldn't figure something out. So I'm actually talking to the lady at the front desk as we are in the holding room, so to speak, and was able to get everything connected by the time we actually went on air. So thanks for that. And these people that helped me, I really appreciate that.
You guys don't know. You guys don't know the struggle. When you are not the most technologically inclined person out there, you guys don't know the struggle. Okay, password. I I
Yeah.
got a password at my house. Is that the same pat? No. Yep. Believe me,
It,
it's yeah,
yeah, what was so disturbing is I really felt so confident about it. I said, "Today's my day." I
yeah.
mean, good.
Seamless.
It's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
And so far, so good. But man,
So
that really tripped me up with that earlier this morning with the
so
zip code, passcodes, and all this other kind of stuff.
tell me about this because this is something you do know about and are well versed in. Why can I not find a line on tomorrow's basketball game? Well,
Well,
in football, you could find it on Monday, right?
yeah.
For the Saturday game. Why? I'm looking at Vegas Insider. I'm looking at BetMGM. I'm looking at Yahoo and USA Today and everything. There ain't a line I can find anywhere. Why is that?
Yeah, and in college basketball and the NBA to some extent, they wait until the day of the game or 24 hours before tip. That'll probably be the soonest you see it. Now, I have seen some lines. We talked about it earlier this week.
Right.
Some FanDuel, BetMGM, things like that. I have seen Auburn as a 4.5, 5-point favorite. Earlier this week, we talked a little bit about it earlier this week
Right.
on the program. But in terms of an official line, if you go to Bet ESPN, something like that, you will not see that till later this afternoon or this morning. That's always been the case with basketball. I don't know if it's an injury situation or they just don't feel like they have as much information as they do in football because, of injury reports that come out midweek. But you should see something official late this afternoon, no doubt this time tomorrow.
I guess I shouldn't ask and put anybody on the spot, even for a TV opinion. Does that surprise you at all? I mean, if it's 4.5, I don't see it. You've said all week long that you like Auburn in this.
Yep.
I kind of do too, but I certainly don't like him enough to put any of my hard-earned cash down on it. Gosh, this is going to be an absolute battle tomorrow. I've looked at it every way I can. I'm familiar of the two teams and the personnel. You and I have both watched them play a pretty good amount this year.
Excuse me.
I don't think you can have this much difference between these two teams. They play differently. They're different teams for sure, different personalities. But man, in terms of basketball, goodness, they're a lot. They are tight here.
And my thing, and I've kind of stuck with it all year. I mean, back in November when I first saw Auburn, I thought, wow, this is a really good basketball team.
Yeah.
I just like the way they played, their chemistry, their bench. Didn't make a lot of mistakes, didn't turn the ball over, just looked dominant. The eye test told me they're different.
Yeah, you've said that all along.
And I still feel that way. Duke's good. I'll agree. I haven't watched as much of Duke as I have Auburn. But I just think Auburn is at another level. Alabama's close, but I think Auburn's at a different level. The thing that gets me about Alabama are turnovers and lapses in play. There are times when they play, they just don't really look, 100% effort or crisp or kind of going through the motions a little bit, maybe not playing defense as well as they should. So I've seen some lapses in Alabama over the season so far from time to time. I just hadn't seen that in Auburn. Now, going on the road is tough. We all know that. Coleman's going to be rocking, but I think Auburn can handle that. And I just think the better team is Auburn. How can you not go with the best team in your mind? I know Bart Heiss likes Alabama. He told us that yesterday when he joined us. But my personal, I like Auburn tomorrow.
Shout out to my buddy Will Templin, who's an Auburn student and one of the great human beings on earth. He says, I don't know if Auburn will be able to keep up with Alabama's pace, but Auburn is the better team. That's what Alabama's got to do. I mean, they've got to run it. Yeah. Obviously, that's what they do most of the time anyway. But if they don't, if Auburn is able to gum them up and slow them up and keep the pace down, and if Alabama, is less than efficient with the basketball, then Auburn wins that one fairly easily. But in terms of just talent, in terms of coaching preparation and everything, these are very even teams. The fact that it's in Tuscaloosa, I think, is huge. But if Alabama gets that pace up, Auburn, is one of the teams that could keep up with Alabama, that, the pace will not make Auburn wither or wilt or anything. But if Alabama's going to win it, that's something they have got to do. They may do it and not win it, but that is obviously their path to winning. John, they got to run.
I agree. They do have to run, Barry. And when Bart joined us yesterday, I don't see this game being a blowout either way.
No.
I see it being a closer game. I know there's been some games that have been, double-digit wins and more. But I think it's going to be a closer, tighter game tomorrow.
I like to always put it into perspective. John, bless his soul, over the years has gotten me worn down on this because I never, ever used to read Philip Marshall. Now, because of John, I read him all the time. Philip has got an article previewing the game, auburnundercover.com. Okay. Here is basically what he says. I will summarize it for you, but please read it at auburnundercover.com and help our friends out. He says, this Auburn-Alabama game is a big game. It's a sizable game between Auburn and Alabama. The bigness of this game between the Tide and the Tigers is significant. The game itself will be large. This is a highly important game. It says the whole time. I mean, is there anything to it? Is there anything like because of this or despite that or anything? It's the whole thing is, boy, this is a big game. Man, I can't tell you how big of a game this is. This is a historic game in terms of its size and impact. Yeah, okay. He wrote that in his spare time, sitting in the lobby of a hotel like John is,
Yeah, I'm trying to see where, because I've got to go through the history of both these teams' seasons up to this point. Where do I get to the point where what you were just reading?
All right. It says Auburn, Alabama have earned their places in their historic matchup.
Yeah.
It's right ahead of big swings propel Auburn softball to win over Clemson and right ahead of Jay Jacobs to launch bi-weekly show on Auburn Undercover.
Wait, I thought he worked for the Florida Athletic Department.
Wow.
What happened there? Man.
I don't. Anyway, that one kind of caught me there. But yeah, we're talking a lot about that today. Yep. A lot today.
And one of the things I want to know is, there again, this is something that we've never experienced. Number one versus number two in basketball. Are people that aren't going to the game, are they having get-togethers, watch parties?
Yeah.
I mean, like a football game when you invite all your buddies over and you get a cooler full of Bud Light and some chicken wings. And
a little Dreamland. Love it.
Yeah, maybe go get some cigars and sit out on the back porch and watch it and enjoy yourself. Is that what people are doing tomorrow? Or are they just
planning their day around it? It ought to be, because it's a historic day. It really is. Even not knowing who's going to win it, without any idea there, this is going to be a memorable day tomorrow. This is going to be one of those where years from now you'll look around and you'll say, do you remember that Auburn-Alabama game?
Mm-hmm.
Back in 2025 up in Tuscaloosa? Just like, remember who was in the Final Four last year besides Alabama? No. But they're going to remember the Auburn-Alabama game and the one down in Auburn to end the regular year. What'll it come down to? I think Auburn has a bit of an advantage in the post. They say Janai Broom's ankle is feeling better than it has since the injury. They do have, I think, just a little bit better depth than Alabama does, although I don't think that's going to be enough of a difference to make a difference. And the fact that Alabama's at home, Alabama can, they can absolutely score the basketball. I do think this from John as well. He and I agree on this. Auburn's deficiencies are less conspicuous than Alabama's deficiencies are. When Alabama does not play well, it's not difficult for you to look at them and find the reason why. Man, that's another turnover.
Yep.
Golly, look at that. Man, they are not hitting the threes. Auburn seems to be more consistent. Their deficiencies, when they have them, are less pronounced, and usually they have the wherewithal, and have in the past. It'll be difficult tomorrow.
Yeah.
To play through those deficiencies.
I think that's a good way to put it. I really do.
Yeah.
I think that's really a good way. Alabama's deficiencies are a little bit more noticeable. They kind of stand out more. You're right. I think turnovers are going to be key tomorrow. Alabama's had a bad problem turning it over. But as we talked with Bart about it yesterday, he talked about Alabama's guard play. I agree with him there. But we didn't talk about down low. How does Grant Nelson deal with Janai Broome?
Yeah.
How do those bigs for both those teams? I think that battle down under the bucket's going to be big too.
Yeah, there's a lot to like about the matchup tomorrow afternoon at 3:00. Here's the deal. Can I give you 4 items on your checklist, maybe 5 on your checklist for the weekend starting today? Number 1, take care of the little lady. Marguerite's is open or ready for, or will be open. They are ready to help you out as much as they can. Take care of her. Number 1. Number 2, today, this is today. I don't know how you find it, but just lend it a thought. Today, beginning at 12:05 in the afternoon, find it somewhere. It is the very first spring training game for the Atlanta Braves. They actually have a game this afternoon. Braves, no, actually that's tomorrow. Sorry, it's Saturday. Braves versus the Twins from the CenturyLink Sports Complex, which is where the Twins play tomorrow. 12:05. Then you roll, if you can find it on TV, I don't even know if it is. You roll that into Auburn, Alabama at 3:00. And then tomorrow night, if you have any Dreamland wings left, you have any Bud Light left, you got to pace yourself now.
Yeah, you sure do.
Yep. You've got on ESPN2, you've got Troy versus the Arkansas State Red Wolves, who are in second and in first in the Sun Belt Conference. That is at 7:00 tomorrow night on ESPN2. Those are the items on your checklist for this weekend. You'll thank us on Monday. Believe me.
I look forward to it. I might have to watch some of the Troy game on my phone. Barry, that's another great thing. I've got YouTube TV. I've been telling you about it. I can watch it on my phone. I can be anywhere with my YouTube TV. It's awesome. Yeah. So I'll be checking. And I've been known to be at restaurants. Where was I? Where was I? Someplace watching a game, and man, I was getting the eye from not only my mother but my mother-in-law. Maybe
because they're talking to you, they're telling you, set up straight and all that. I was like,
I tell you exactly what it was.
Okay.
The last time I was in DC was last fall. It was during football season, and my wife and I were up here visiting my daughter, and her mother happened to be here visiting a friend as well.
Nice.
So we all went to dinner one night. Here in DC, and I think it was maybe it was an Alabama game. I can't remember, Auburn, whomever. I've got my phone sitting in the chair with me. I actually put it on the table and hid it behind the menu. And they're looking at me like, they're looking at me like, what are you doing? We had a bunch of other people with us. I said, I got to check the game out. So with YouTube TV, I can check it out anywhere. So I will definitely be keeping an eye on Troy, Arkansas State, amongst other games. All right, Barry, a lot to talk about today. I got a couple of things I want to get into. I've kind of put them on the list throughout the week. We've been so busy, we hadn't had time to get to them. But today, we're wide open to get to these type 2 things. A couple of items I want to get to.
All right.
A great article from Dennis Dodd, our friend Dennis Dodd from CBSSports.com.
Yep.
Basically talking about college football and a CEO running it. I mean, that's just a little portion of it. It's a very lengthy article. I'm going to I'll tell you a little bit about it, and don't want to get into all of it, but I got some comments about that. And also, Barry, there has been a movement, I guess you could say, in some degree, at the state level here in Alabama.
Yes.
To eliminate state income tax on NIL.
Yes. I talked with my friend and my roommate on the road, Chris Blackshear, He's our sideline reporter. He and I share the same hotel room about 6 or 7 times a year, and we talk all the time on the Troy Sports Media Network. He's also a state representative from Phoenix City for the state of Alabama. He's a state legislator, and he was telling me they're pushing this thing through. And we'll talk about it at length later.
Yeah.
But it could be a real selling point, a real deciding point for student athletes to attend college within the state of Alabama.
It could.
Think about it.
But I've got a different take on it.
Oh, I don't
maybe I don't have a different take on it. I've just got an opinion about it. Maybe I need to be educated on it a little bit more. But we'll get into that today as well. Hey, you got any watch parties tomorrow? Number 1 versus number 2? Never happened. Yeah. It's going to be a lot different. We're going to get into that. The topic wheel, the Phantom's daily dog. I think the dog was barking last night.
Nice.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
Nice.
Just going to leave it at that. We'll get into that in the next hour.
Well, it was nip and tuck. It was, last minute, right in under the gun. But John's with us here. He is in Washington, D.C. I'm in Jonesboro, Arkansas.
If I'm not back after the next break, I'm going to get some coffee, but I'm coming right back.
Hopefully John doesn't have to go hunt for it. Yeah,
I know exactly where it is. It won't take me long.
There we go. Okay, John can sprint away. We'll take a break. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore in McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air rallies for you. No matter the problem, Dixie will tackle it. Their licensed and trusted electricians, plumbers, air and garage door technicians are ready to win for you. From toilets to garbage disposals, circuit breakers to HVAC systems, Dixie never fumbles. Don't throw away your hard-earned money on second-string contracting companies. Score big with Dixie. After all, they are your biggest fan. Visit calldixie.com or dial them up locally at 262-2946.
Here we go. Yep, now he's ready. He got the coffee.
Now, I did. I printed up there, got my coffee, and got back. Very quickly on the River Region Straw chat line, Ty had a good one. If you ever hear me chuckle or kind of laugh or sniff,
a bunch.
I'm usually reading the chat line. Ty at 8:12 today. I think he summed it up, Barry. I think he summed it up well.
Yeah, I got 7:12. He says, if anybody ever says less with more words than Philip Marshall, I don't know who it is. There are some people around here who think that who can come up with a name, but he left office back about 3 weeks, a month ago. So the operative thing on the show today, here in mid-February, not spring football, not who's going to be the new starting quarterback at both Auburn and Alabama, because their old quarterbacks are no longer there. It's not going to be who are the top prospects in the 2026 class. It's basketball. The number
excited about
one
it.
and number two teams in the country. Now, had somebody text me a second ago. When John and I are talking, trying to break the game down, again, understand there is very little difference between these two teams. They deserve to be number one and number two, and all credit to them. When I'm trying to think of deficiencies for Alabama and that their deficiencies are maybe a little bit more obvious when they crop up than Auburn, that is not saying that Alabama is not that good. They're overrated. Nothing. Alabama is all that. If you hear us talking about this game and trying to come up with something that may be a factor, it ain't because one has glaring issues. They
Correct.
do not. When John says they turn the ball over a lot, they definitely do it wrong. It's like saying Cindy Crawford had a mole on her face, you know? It's like saying Sandra Bullock seems a little short to me, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And there is loads and loads and loads to like about both of these teams, John. And, you know, I saw on one of the websites, on one of the forums, all caps on a post on one of the message boards, don't you even think about using your ticket at Coleman Coliseum and sitting down the whole game.
Well, okay.
And, of course, a lot of people underneath it said, oh, so I guess the new arena is not going to have any seats at all. And others said, don't tell me how to act. Yep, this is going to be that kind of an atmosphere tomorrow. All you blue bloods out there, get ready. You might want to wear your Skechers or, an extra couple of Dr. Scholl's insoles or something like that, because you're going to be expected to stand a lot.
I thought you were going to go with the don't think about selling your tickets to an ALB, which I'm sure that's on the message boards as well. Look, we've talked about this all week too. Look, it's called capitalism. If you can make some money, they're going to do it. And I can promise you, if somebody wanted to buy my tickets for what I'm hearing they're going for, I'm all over it. I mean, call me a bum, call me, a traitor, whatever you want to, but I'm going to have some bankroll, and I'm gonna be pretty happy about it. Watch the game on TV. I know what people are saying. You idiot, throwing stuff at the screen. I get it, but I am just being brutally honest with you. If I had the opportunity and what I'm hearing, what some of these tickets are going for, I would probably seriously consider it. In terms of sitting down, I get that. Maybe it's just basketball is different. Football is so expansive and the stadium is so big and you're not as close to the action as maybe you are in basketball. I don't know. And maybe there's just more. Well, it is, Barry. I mean, in football, we've talked about it. I mean, you run a play, you walk back to the huddle. You call a play, you walk up to the line of scrimmage. So there's some kind of downtime, if you will, in football, timeout, whatever it may be. Basketball's fast paced. It's going until those refs start blowing that whistle all the time. So in football, there's opportunities to sit down. Just some reason people don't want to do it. But in basketball, I can see where you need to stand up a majority of the game, if not all of it. I mean, if you watch a lot of these college games, particularly the student sections, they ain't sitting down.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
If I had to fall in line on this issue, even when I was younger, I'm on team sit down. I rarely get to go to an event and just be a fan. Rarely, maybe once, maybe twice a year. And in that case, you know what I'm doing? I'm watching the game. I'm not mindlessly, screaming at the ref or something like that. I'm wanting to watch the game. I mean, I'll stand if I have to. I have a contrast with my wife because I'm 6'4" and she's 5 feet flat. So when I do stand, I usually have a pretty good line of sight to what I'm looking at. She does not. But she's one of those that'll stand all the time. Don't judge. Don't judge. This is what you can't do if you're at that game. If you want to stand up and scream the whole time and say, to heck with everybody else around me, by gosh, this is America, that's your right. What cannot happen is for you to sit there and grumble at everybody for standing up. Correct. Sit down. What are you standing up for? Sit down. I paid good money for this seat. I'm going to use it. You will never gain satisfaction that way. Nobody will ever say, you know, I've thought about it. I think he's right. I think he makes a good point. I think I am going to sit down so the guy behind me can have a clear view. Nobody ever does that. You never change it. You hardly ever change anybody's mind in a football stadium anyway, or in a basketball arena anyway. It's not like, I believe I'll desist in my rampant cheering for my team because the elderly gentleman behind me told me to sit down. I think I will. No, nobody ever does that. So get ready tomorrow. It ain't going to be prim and proper. It ain't going to be a tea party tomorrow, John.
If you tell somebody to sit down tomorrow, they're going to say something back to you. Whether your wife, children, or grandmother's with you, they're going to say something back to you that you probably don't want to hear. So best advice, just grin and bear it. Know what you're getting into before you walk into Coleman tomorrow.
Yes.
Whether you're a Bama fan, an Auburn fan, or you have no interest whatsoever in the teams, you're just going to see it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
They'll say something you don't want to hear.
Yeah. John says the same thing about going to Baton Rouge in the fall.
Yes.
Don't just know what you're getting into before you go.
My son went to Baton Rouge. I said, let me give you a little advice, son. Don't wear your crimson. Don't do it. Wear a white shirt and a pair of khaki pants.
That's right.
Keep your mouth shut. You'll have a great time.
Yes.
For the record, I did admit to our audience that I woke up this morning and did not tell my wife Happy Valentine's Day. I did do that. I made a mistake. She just walked to our broadcast location here this morning. She's heading over to the workout facility. Happy Valentine's Day, honey. I love you. So there it is. You want to get on TV with us today? No, you don't.
Yeah. She didn't even get to finish the sentence. Didn't even get to ask the question. No. Yeah, I get it. Tomorrow's going to be great. Looking forward to it. Number one child who is here in D.C. That's why we're here visiting her this weekend. I mean, that's one of the first things I told her. You need to scope out a place. Where are we going at 4:00 Eastern tomorrow, 3:00 Central? And I got to get used to that because I'm looking at the chat line. Everything's in Eastern time over here. So if I say the wrong time, I'm an hour ahead. So that's to me, and I'm with John. To me, that's one of the biggest deals I got, and I realize I travel a lot. I have traveled a ton just over the last 2 weeks. Is trying to keep Eastern time and Central time. I have a terrible time with that. So hey, man, I get you. Well, we're coming back with more, a little topic wheel a little bit later on, and again, a couple of topics John's already brought up. The chance.
Oh, wait a minute.
Kind of cheesy.
Cheesy? What are you talking about?
Are you talking about? His Happy Valentine's Day, honey, was just every bit as emotional and heartfelt as her telling him no, she does not want to get on camera. I mean, that came from the soul right there.
Man, I got to build me some brownie points. I dropped the ball earlier today when the alarm went off. So, man, help me out there. We got a lot to talk about today. As I mentioned, some big basketball, other big SEC games as well we're going to talk about today. But I know that Alabama and Auburn is the big one that everybody wants to discuss. A couple of things we hinted at the first segment about some issues that we want to get into today. I think will be very interesting as well. And hey, where are you watching the game tomorrow? Because only 15,000 of you are getting in Coleman. Where are the other million of you going to watch it? A million? You think a million people in the state are going to watch it tomorrow?
In the state?
So.
No.
What do you think?
That's like 20% of the population of the state.
Yeah, I think so.
I get every one of them in the state usually roots for either Auburn or Alabama along with their other school, but I don't know that there's a million people in this state who care about basketball. Even now, it used to be less than 50,000.
Yeah,
it may be close to a million, but every one of them ain't going to be watching the Auburn Alabama game. I'm going to have to scramble again. My game tomorrow in Jonesboro is Troy and Arkansas State. That starts at 7:00. So I'm going to have to kind of catch it in bits and pieces, particularly down the stretch.
Definitely.
Let's take a break. John is in Washington, D.C. I am in Jonesboro, Arkansas, in association with Yellowhammer News. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Book tee time sooner. Save on every round. That's what you get with the 2025 RTJ Trail Card. Destination Golf is closer than you might think. Buy a 2025 Trail Card and save every time you play. Plus, you will be automatically entered into the Trails Loyalty Program. Enjoy 10-day advance reservation privileges at each location, 11-day advanced internet tee times on rtjgolf.com and the RTJ app. Enjoy the benefits of a 2025 Trail Card. It makes for a great stocking stuffer, and you save on every round you play in 2025 on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard. Until the other team scores. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
Are back live on a Friday. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Barry is in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Troy and Arkansas State basketball tomorrow. I am in the nation's capital of Washington, D.C. It's a little cold here. It had a lot of snow earlier in the week, about almost about a foot. I mean, it was snowing big time earlier this week, but most of it is melted. Had some rain yesterday, I believe, before I arrived. Once again, another seamless trip from the Montgomery Regional Airport. Barry flew directly nonstop into Reagan National last night from MGM. It was great. I'm telling you, this pilot, we either had a heck of a tailwind or he was trying to make up some time, because we were hauling. We were fast. I mean,
they got that yoke on the front, right? I mean, it's not like they got an accelerator. I mean, he ain't stomping on it, is he? I mean, there's some other way that they achieve speed, right?
He did mention that we were going to have a tailwind. I thought that was mainly going east to west or west to east or whatever. But anyway, said we had a nice tailwind. I mean, I looked at my watch. We're flying over downtown Atlanta. I'm thinking, man, we ain't been in the air but about 10 minutes, it seems like. It was more like 20. And we were over downtown Atlanta. The next thing I know, we're in descent into Reagan. I think we got here at about an hour and 15 minutes. You know, it's scheduled for about 2:15. But man, we were moving last night. Got here, seamless travels. My only complaint, Barry.
Wow.
And I hadn't even been here 24 hours yet. Not even probably. Have I been here 12 hours? I'm not even sure I've been here 12.
I know I have not.
Barry, I have yet to find a place in this hotel that has Fox News. Now, I know I'm in D.C.
Wait a minute.
And I know it's a little liberal up here, and I've already seen some of the liberal slant. But I'm thinking, you're telling me I can't get Fox News anywhere in this hotel? It's unbelievable.
John goes, checks in, brings in the luggage, wife's tote bags, the extra pillows and stuff, sits down, gets his shaving kit, puts it in the bathroom, gets ready, turns on the TV, and what?
Yeah.
First thing, he ain't looking at HGTV. He ain't looking for, the amenities channel where the hotel tells you what all they got in there. Now he's looking for what?
Couldn't believe it.
I'm surprised that John actually makes a reservation at a hotel without asking ahead of time.
Well, believe me, Barry, at 9 a.m. Central, I'm going to the front desk and saying, what's the deal? I mean, come on. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, Barry, earlier in the week, you sent me, I believe it was an article.
Yes.
About movement down at the State House to try to, or I guess the move is to eliminate state income tax on NIL deals.
Yes. That is, it was introduced this week. It will be voted upon in the next little bit. And they're expecting, quite frankly, to fast track it. Again, Chris Blackshear is super close friend of mine. Again, he's my roommate on the road for the Troy games. It has been introduced by State Representative Joe Lovorn, who's a Republican from Auburn. It's the HB 240, the Competitive Edge NIL Tax Cut Act. And according to the release, it would exempt any compensation earned by student athletes for the use of their name, image, and likeness from the state's individual income tax. That means, if you get NIL money in the state of Alabama, obviously the money that you get is going to be yours, except for the federal income tax. And that's one of the things John and I brought up. Okay, if it's income, if you're an employee or whatever, you get NIL money, you're going to have to pay taxes on it. You're going to have to W-2. Maybe not so much. Representative Lovehorn said in a statement, one common thread shared among Alabamians is their love for collegiate athletics. Alabama is proudly home to many of the nation's top programs, and celebrating their success is a central part of our state's identity. Exempting NIL earnings from state income tax gives Alabama a competitive edge, leading to more students receiving a quality education here and more championships coming home to Alabama. Chris Blackshear, again, Representative Blackshear, he says, one thing has become clear over the last 4 years in college sports. The teams that best utilize NIL will be the teams that compete for championships. Recruiting top athletes has become similar to attracting top businesses. That's a good comparison. You need to offer the best facilities, incentives, and opportunities for success. You got the state of Alabama, John. They will offer tax incentives to businesses to come to Alabama, and some of them, I'm told, will not pay state income tax for many, many years.
Yeah, I think there's some automobile manufacturers that do that. And I get that.
So.
That because I think that there again is a good example of really helping the entire state, get the economy going, bringing in a car manufacturer, an aircraft manufacturer, whatever it may be. I get that. You're providing jobs for people. You can see where the money is coming back into the state economy. And you have to give them a tax break to get them here. I get that. Do the people that contribute to the NIL collectives, do they get a tax break?
Well,
I see where they're going with this.
Right.
I don't want to use the line I use all the time is we're not broke. Don't let these politicians tell you that we are. We don't need any schools, prisons, or bridges because they won't pass a gambling act where they could make a lot of money, a lot of revenue. So I'm not going to go down that path. But the path I am going to go down is how do you think the people that do pay state tax think about this? I mean, if you go to a college football game, they're already just gouging you to death with ticket prices, concessions, the travel expense, the time that you're devoting to go into these games. You're asking the fans a lot, and they all pay state tax to go see players that don't pay it. And these players are making 7-figure deals in some cases, and they're not going to pay tax on it. I just don't know how that's going to fly with the common Joe Alabamian. What do you mean? These prima donnas aren't paying taxes? I can't say I'm for it.
Well,
and there again, and here's a line I use all the time. That is not the real world, because when you get out of college and you don't go to the NFL, like 98% of college athletes do not, probably 99%.
Right.
You're going to have to pay state taxes unless you live in Florida or to these states that don't have state taxes. We're talking about Alabama,
Tennessee, New Hampshire, Nevada,
So that's not the real world. Why are we teaching college athletes, hey, we're going to give you a break and you're not going to pay state tax? I'm just not sure the rank and file Alabamian's going to go for that.
They will go for that when they see, well, some of them will, when they see Auburn hoisting that crystal trophy. State, to me, I mean, the federal income tax is what gets me. When I look on my W-2 and my W-9, and I'm thinking, who the heck is FICA? What is he doing? What I don't even know what that is. Stuff like that. When I look line item down on everything, I'm thinking, what is that? I got to tell you, my state income tax is not that bad. It's the federal that just wears me out.
Oh, sure.
Jason Jones with the Trojans Together collective at Troy says the 501c3 status for collectives in the U.S. has been revoked. Therefore, there are no tax breaks for giving to collectives currently. Also, that's the reason why most universities are bringing it in-house with revenue share. That's the other thing. That's going to change coming up, hopefully in April, and be implemented in August when the House settlement comes into effect. Is pretty soon the money that you are donating is not going to be to a collective; it'll be to the university itself. So there will be taxes that you've got to pay on that, and tax write-offs that you can get for that as well. But it is, if you ask somebody, once you calm down from your team winning that natty, Alabama, Auburn, whoever, once you get down for that, are you still going to feel that mad about those blankety blanks didn't pay state income tax on their NIL and I did? No, doggone it.
I get what you're saying, but there's only one team that's going to win the natty. The other ones in the state that don't, maybe their fans aren't going to be so excited about it. And I don't know if that's really what's going to get them. I just think it's the idea of, I think a lot of college athletes, not all, but a good part, are thought of as, they're put up on a pedestal. They're kind of prima donnas. Are they there just to play football or basketball? Do they really care about their university? Are they there to get a quick buck? Whatever it may be, and we're going to give them a tax break. I just don't think the hardworking people of Alabama that do pay taxes are going to like that too much. On the surface,
especially when their football team goes 4-8. Wait a minute, this guy's getting a tax break and he still threw 4 interceptions against Louisiana Tech. Come on.
I just don't know. I don't want to be the guy that's poo-pooing this plan. I think there's another plan I'd like these guys to get behind. I think you know which one it is.
Yeah.
That I think the majority of Alabamians want to at least vote on it. Can we at least let them go to the ballot box and vote on gambling?
State lottery.
Wagering?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, can we at least give them the opportunity to do that? I know there's a big move afoot to get that done. You're going to hear more about that in the coming days, weeks, and months. But I just don't, and I want to be educated on it. I'll go ahead and tell you right now.
Right. Yeah. I'd like to know more. And
this is just my initial reaction.
Yeah, we'll have Chris Blackshear on sometime next week and and get his thoughts on that. But it's just trying to give the state of Alabama a little advantage because some states, I think, already have implemented that. I think some states are, have a little bit of an edge. Florida doesn't have an income tax at all for anybody, a state income tax. And believe me, in a very competitive recruiting world out there, if somebody's getting any kind of decent representation as a student athlete, they're going to say, now look, you're going to be getting $100,000 from this school in Texas. They're offering $100,000 from this school in Alabama. Texas, they're going to take you for whatever it is. I don't even know what the state tax rate is. And in Alabama, they're not. So you get to put a little bit more of that in your pocket. Think about that. And when it comes that competitive and that, I mean, John, in the past, you used to have players decide to go to this school to further their education because they get to wear the number they want.
Correct.
Or they get to spat their shoes, or they get to wear they get to wear the proper sports logo or something like that. So when it comes down to something that small, not paying income tax is probably something that here and again might spin their decision into your favor in the state of Alabama.
It could. I get that. I do think more, what the total amount's going to be, and am I driving a Escalade or whatever perk or benefit comes with it, and might be more enticing than maybe a tax break. My brother-in-law over in Atlanta texted me this morning. He's part of the VIP text line as well.
Well, I hope so. He's your
Yeah,
brother-in-law.
he's an alt though, and he still gets to go be a part of the VIP text line. He says the break goes to the donors. Players will get their net amount. And I mentioned that about the donors. How do the donors feel? Now, I had not heard that. I'm not questioning him on that. But if a donor is going to give, I don't know, $1 million to the NIL collective at Auburn or Alabama, they're going to get a state tax break for it?
Well, no, they're going to be, they're able to write off a certain portion of it. Now, they write off a lot less of a portion of it, a lot less of a percentage of it than they used to. Used to be able to write off 100% of your tickets if it's for a business expense. That doesn't happen.
And kind of like the luxury boxes, the suites, you could do the same thing with that.
Well, and one quick note here before we go to break, Jason also points out, and Jason is one of the executives of the Trojans Together Collective at Troy at trojanstogethercollective.com. He says what John's talking about is one of the issues that NIL should be universal with the NCAA and not state by state. John and I both agree with that. It should not be a state issue. It should be an NCAA issue because in terms of compensation and competitive balance and all that, it doesn't need to be where West Virginia has just total advantages over Alabama in terms of that. We all agree with that.
Yeah,
he says in Alabama, casinos and other gambling agencies can't be promoted while other states allow it. Yeah. That kind of stuff needs to be universal, if you ask me. Yeah.
Sure. No doubt. A lot of different subjects here we can dip into. There again, this is just my initial reaction to it.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
When I heard it and read about it, I had some questions about it. I can't say right now I'm in favor of it. I might could be swayed later on. We'll see. But I'm glad we talked about this subject first because in the next hour, this piece I mentioned that Dennis Dodd did at CBSSports.com. Dennis is a big fan of it. It's a lengthy piece, but it's really one little section, a couple of paragraphs, a couple of lines that I want to share that I thought was really, really interesting. But it's kind of what I've been talking about, the big boy conference. Are we going to split? Is there going to be the big four going to go do their own thing? We'll talk about more of that in the next hour. But this part with the income tax kind of piggybacks on that. There are so many things going on, Barry. You know it. I know it. I mean, college athletics is so different today than we ever imagined it would be. It's not like it was when we were growing up. And not only is there a lot of uncertainty and confusion with us, the media, the fan, whatever you want to be, but Barry, coaches are as well. I'm sure you talk to some of the Troy coaches and they go, well, I'm not real sure what's coming up in the next 6 months. We're trying
as a matter of fact, on Monday, this past Monday, right before we left on this second straight lengthy road trip, we had our regular Troy University Athletics all-staff meeting, which we do before every term, every semester. And Jones gets up there, all the department heads and athletics get up there and make their presentations. And Brent this is with all the coaches, me, all the graduate assistants, everybody involved. There's, hundreds of people in there. And he had a lengthy report on the House settlement with PowerPoints and all that kind of stuff. And even then, I'm sitting there and I'm taking notes. I'm a note taker. Yeah. Even when I was in college, John would be the guy sitting behind me going, hey, can I get those when you're done? And even then, I'm writing down my notes and I'm thinking, this is intricate. I guarantee you, John, that they're all, and one of the things Brent says, he said, basically this for everybody out there, all you coaches, all you administrators, if the House settlement passes, then this is our best guess about how things are going to look, right? And he goes point by point by point. If this thing doesn't pass, nobody has any idea what's going to happen. If the House settlement gets voted down and you go back to the drawing board, John, I haven't got a clue what's going to happen. One thing we both know is that it can't keep on the way it is.
No, it cannot. I'm with you. In April, if this thing does not pass, I think it's really chaos. I'm just curious, though, and if you can't answer this, I get it. I don't know if this question might have been posed, but during that meeting, did anybody ask Brent, do you have a feel of what's going to happen in April? I'm just curious what athletic directors around the country think about this House versus the NCAA that's coming up. I think it's April the 7th.
Yes.
If there's any feel out there from these ADs about what they think is going to happen.
Well, the feel is, and I'm not quoting Brent or speaking for Brent Jones.
Yeah.
The feeling is, if you've looked, and I know John's checked in this on all of this is a settlement of a lawsuit against the NCAA, and if you look at the history of the NCAA's record in lawsuits, I believe it's like Wake Forest back in the day. 1-11, 0-12. I mean, John, the NCAA has lost so many lawsuits, I've lost count. The NCAA doesn't want this thing to go, to its conclusion, because historically it never goes well for the NCAA. So, it's like the Jim Carrey lawyer character in Liar, Liar. Settle. Now settle. That's what the NCAA wants, and that's what I think is probably going to give the best direction to this incredibly complex.
And I get it, Barry. If this thing doesn't go the way they hope it does in April, man.
Don't ask John. Don't ask me. Don't ask anybody. Because anybody who says they know, they are telling you a big fat fib, because they do not. Whew, let's take a break.
Take a break.
Yep. When we come back, hour number 2, John is in the hotel lobby. I'm in my room here. John's in Washington, D.C. I'm in Jonesboro, Arkansas.
I'm actually in a business center. I wanted to go to a place that was kind of quiet, but I do have some people that are walking by. They're looking at me like, what are you doing?
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, so I'm in the business center here at the hotel. I will say this, Barry, if I do get a call or a text and I have to bolt out of here to go to Pennsylvania Avenue, I know you'll understand, right?
Yeah, it's exactly right. It's for the good of the country. Yeah. Sometimes we have to do not what's best for the show, but what's best for America.
Yeah. Oh, the president can see you in 15 minutes? Ooh, okay, I'm in.
There you go. Used to be John would get a communication. The president wants to see you. It was the president of the University of Alabama. John's like, oh, no. I thought I had covered my tracks on that one. Yeah, he's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Joining us now is Marianne from Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry, and it is Valentine's. Marianne, tell us what's in store when Cupid arrives.
Definitely. Valentine's is now. It's amazing. This year is going by quickly already. But one thing you don't need to forget or let slip by you is the opportunity to show that special person you love exactly what you're thinking of them, that you're thinking about them. And we have lots of great options. For the first time ever, we're going to have price point cases to make it easy shopping for all the guys out there, ladies, anyone. So we're going to have a case for $199, $299, $399. We have lots of great specials, lots of things. If you come in, we even have time for some special customized designs, because at Marguerite's we really do make it. So again, don't be last minute. Don't forget about it. This is your cue. All the hearts in the background. Valentine's Day is here, and you want to stop at Marguerite's, because we'll wrap it up and help you find that perfect gift.
Glad you mentioned the beautiful gift wrap. Just another example of what sets Marguerite's apart from everyone else. And whether it's a ring, a bracelet, a necklace, any jewelry item, and as Marianne mentioned, they have them in different cases at different price points. Or if you have something special in mind, they can certainly handle that as well. Marguerite's is a full-service jeweler. They do it all, from sales to repairs to special orders. And you're located there at 8163 Vaughn Road in Pepper Tree. And Marianne, you're open 7 days a week, so that's very convenient for our viewers and listeners.
Exactly. We're open 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday. We're open from 10 to 5:30 on Monday through Friday, 10 to 5 on Saturday, and noon to 5 on Sunday. So the hardest thing you have to do is open the door, and we'll take it from there.
That's right. Hey, let's have a great Valentine's, folks, and it all starts at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. Marianne, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Okay, Barry, today's Valentine's. Marianne just told everybody. And I know you're watching, I know you're listening, whether you're watching us live or you're watching us later throughout the day on the stream, or checking us out on Spotify or at yellowhammernews.com, X, Instagram, you name it, and you're thinking, ooh, it is Valentine's. Now, look, Mark Reed's is open late for
Yeah.
you, probably around 6 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
So if you're watching us later, you need to get by Mark Reed's, because if you come home tonight, it's a Friday, and you don't have that Valentine's gift for the loved one in your life, whoa.
Let's go one layer deeper than that. If you do come home for Valentine's Day tonight, and the little lady is all right, and you hand her this dollar Valentine's card, and you hand her that
Good.
Valentine's chocolates, and you
Not
don't
good.
take the drugstore price tag off of it, John, that's almost worse than not getting her anything at all, is getting her something like that, because that means that you screwed up and you think this is going to cover your mistake. No, it's not. I'm telling you that if you have an old lawnmower shed that's maybe corroded in the back, that wind whistles through at night, it's hard to sleep, you know? I mean, you got to get some duct tape out of the corner by the lawnmower and try and tape that thing up. And you're thinking, I could have fixed it all if I had just listened to John and Barry. Yep. Marguerite's exquisite jewelry. John has said this before, and for the first couple of years, like many things with John, I didn't understand what he was talking about. When you show up and she's sitting there, she's already dressed up because you're probably going to go someplace nice to go eat, and you better. And you show up and she's looking at you like, yeah, happy Valentine's Day. And you pull out that exquisitely wrapped Marguerite's jewelry gift. John would always say, you better by then have already called mom and dad and told them, hey, can you keep the kids tonight? And I'm thinking, what does mom and dad keeping the kids got to do with anything? You might need to say, hey, let the kids stay at your house tonight.
Yeah, you come home with something from Marguerite's exquisitely gift wrapped, beautiful jewelry item that she's going to love. I'm telling you, the kids are staying with the in-laws probably all weekend. Just take it. Yeah, you get me? You read between the lines there? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Now,
John,
if you're in the delivery room or in November and December, that's not our fault.
Yeah.
That's not our fault.
Now, in this day and age of acronyms and initials and stuff on social media and texting, we have one of the administrators with Troy Athletics. When he texts the players, he'll always say GM instead of just typing out good morning. He'll say GM. I don't think just right. Good morning. You know, John Dent says, don't be last minute Larry for VD. No, he means Valentine's Day. This is one of those where you don't want to use the initials. Don't be last minute Larry for Valentine's Day. He doesn't mean don't be last minute Larry for VD. He says you go to Publix for the heart-shaped VD steak. It's one nice part of a nice VD meal.
Look, let me tell you something.
A heart-shaped steak?
I don't want Valentine's ever associated with the initials VD.
I mean, my initials are BM. You don't think I had a hard time with that? Give me a break.
Woo. I mean, that's the last thing I want on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, that does not put her in the mood. Believe me.
No way at all.
I want to talk with you about VD, honey. No, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, exactly. All right, hour number 2 is underway here on Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Hey, our man Range Pro says for the ladies, give their husbands for Valentine's, do something different that he loves. Go by the Destin Connection Seafood Market, pick up a bag of spicy boiled crawfish, a couple of pounds of boiled, peeled, and deveined large shrimp, and a box of oysters in the shell. He'll love it, and that'll be great for your basketball watching party tomorrow with all your buddies. You got crawfish, you got shrimp, you got oysters. Invite the buddies over. They can even bring their wives, because the wives can kind of clean up while you guys are eating all that stuff, watching the game. Just make sure you get a couple of cases of Bud Light, and you're good to go.
That's good, fellas. You know, come on, John. Hey, we'll bring you here. Bring an apron while you're at it. No.
Yeah.
Oh, brother.
Exactly. I love it.
So you can call Destin Connection Seafood Market right now. 288-4272.
Correct.
And tell them, hey, tomorrow or later today, I'm going to pick up. This is what I want. I'm going to go Spalding. I want oysters. I want grouper. I want shrimp. Give me a couple dozen of those. Naked lady teeth. No, that's another one.
Yeah.
And they can have it all ready for you for pickup. Yeah, that's the thing to do, guys. Absolutely.
Chris the Bammer says we've heard from PM. Now spin the wheel. Hold on, Chris.
Hang on, Chris.
Buddy.
Yeah, it's like Paul Masson wine. We will spin no wheel before it's time.
All right. We've gotten into the NIL deal somewhat. We've kind of given our thoughts and impressions about that. All right, our man Dennis Dodd, friend of the program, been on with us many a time. He's with CBSSports.com. He had a piece day or two ago entitled "There Will Be a College Sports CEO." Who they are and how they'll execute an impossible task is up in the air. Very lengthy piece, Barry. I suggest, folks, if you got a minute, go read it later today. Basically, Barry, it talks about a big boy conference in so many words, in so many ways. The Big Four, the ACC, the Big 12, the Big 10, and the SEC, pretty much kind of getting together, doing some talking, getting a plan in place. Of course, the House versus the NCAA coming up in April, a big part of it. What could happen in July, around July 1st? There's just a lot of interesting aspects. You can kind of learn a lot about what we've been talking about a little bit earlier today. I'm not going to get into all of it, but the Big Four, Barry, we've talked about it. It seems like it's kind of moving in that direction where these big boys, as I've called them for so long, kind of want to break away and do their own thing.
Here's the best analogy I can bring when John talks about when we talk about it, John's bringing up who's driving all of this. Let's just say the Big Four. You can use the analogy of the Jackson Five. Ohio State and the Big Ten and the SEC are basically Michael and Jermaine. Okay.
What about Tito?
Tito and Marlon are the ACC and the Big 12. They know that whatever Michael and Jermaine want, or even to a degree Janet wants, is what they're going to do. All they got to do. It's the same thing with the Osmonds. You think Wayne, who I don't think is with us anymore, and Merle or whatever his name is, you think they're going to tell Donnie and Jimmy and Marie where to get off? All of this is being driven.
Jimmy only had one hit. Jimmy
But that's the best analogy I can do, and off the top of my head, this whole thing is being driven by the SEC and the Big Ten. I mean, this whole thing is they want to make sure they get theirs, and Greg Sankey has not been too ashamed to say it and tell everything about it. So they're driving this. The ACC and the Big 12, they're like, sure, that sounds good. You let us know when we're going to be at the meeting, and can you give us can you touch your ear when it's time for us to vote yes on something, and touch the other ear when it's time to vote no? Can you do all that? And so what the SEC and the Big 12 want is what they call fair market value. They think that they're the ones that are driving everything, and they should be the ones that get the most money and the most power and everything. The NCAA moves very, very slowly. The reason why it does, in their estimation, is because you got to have a whole vote with everybody on everything. He got tired of Alabama and Florida and Georgia sitting there waiting for the legislation that they support to be voted either yay or nay by Muskingum and Florida A&M and West Texas State.
Barry, you've used this many a time in our 30 years together. Well, Northern Arizona has just as much of a vote as Alabama does. That example was used in Dennis's article.
Yeah.
I don't know if he used Northern Arizona, but it was some school like that.
Yeah.
And when I read that, it boom hit me. I went, they're tired of these people telling them what they can and can't do, or having an influence of what they can and can't do, or what they want to do. And they're tired of these guys going, wait a minute, We want to go do our own thing. And we're tired of the NCAA. Sankey, there's a lot about that in this piece about Sankey's unhappiness with the NCAA. And they're tired of these smaller schools being able to legislate what they want to do, the ones that are making all the money.
Well, Dennis Dodd wrote this. He says there were two incidents last year that lent an inside look at the desire for more power. Last spring, SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey detailed his frustration with the slow-moving NCAA. Sankey told reporters, recounting that 2023 meeting with what he perceived as an inattentive NCAA council. He said, quote, "So I was a jerk. I tried not to be a jerk at the time, but sometimes you have to be a jerk," end quotes. It's my theory that that's when John stopped reading it because his head was shaking up and down so much that he couldn't focus on that. John says, yeah, I get that. I try not to be a jerk. Sometimes you have to be a jerk.
You just have to be a jerk.
His job isn't to make friends. His job is to look after the best interests of the Southeastern Conference.
And Barry, when I was reading that, and we've interviewed Greg Sankey multiple times, I'm thinking he's never been a jerk to us. Now, he does use a lot of big words.
John has never liked that. Well, yes.
He's a big word. I mean, what did Brian Jones tell us? Those are $5 words. I mean, Greg uses a lot of $5 words when he describes a situation. But, hey, he's a smart guy. I get it. So that definitely caught my eye. How about this, Barry? This caught my eye, too.
This was the thing that turned me off on it. Dennis Dodd, who we love and respect very much, John, he came up with 5 names who make the most sense. I hit Control F, and I hit the search, and I entered in Longshore, and that name did not appear anywhere in the whole article. He says, after talking with sources, these 5 names would make sense to fill the college football CEO role.
And I want to go over these names because I don't think some of our viewers and listeners are going to be as familiar with some over others. But I thought this might have been really the meat of the article. This is what caught my attention right here.
Right.
And I think the everyday fan, this is something that they would be interested in. In the article, it's under the heading, "Somebody has to manage all of this." By July 1st of this year, when implementation of House is expected, we will likely see that de facto commissioner / CEO of college sports for the first time. We've never been closer to having such a person in big-time college sports. In essence, that commissioner CEO would become among the most powerful people in college sports, sitting on an estimated $14 billion to distribute over the next 10 years. The Power Four have engaged a search firm to evaluate CEO candidates. When I read that, Barry, I'm thinking, whoa, this is a little further along than maybe even I imagined. They're already considering people to do this. One guy running the show, NCAA, it's been fun, but move on down the road. We don't need you anymore. And the big four are going to get together and do their own thing. That's what I got out of those 3 paragraphs right there.
Usually in the past, we've kind of joked about that because John would say they may never do it, but if they ever do, I'd be glad to lend my expertise. John would even probably give them a discount on the hourly rate he would charge.
No doubt.
For any of that. And that was kind of our tone of it. I'm here to tell you, reading that article and catching up with the issue, John, that's going to happen. There's going to be one. I didn't realize it was as far along as well. They've got a search firm. They're paying money to somebody. They're not paying money to somebody and then looking at what the results are and saying, I don't think we even really want to do this. Do we even really want to do? They have already decided that they want to do this, and now they're taking those steps.
And Barry, I'm thinking maybe other conferences are scrambling around thinking, whoa, where does this leave us?
Yeah.
Okay, go over the 5 candidates that Dennis lays out in this article.
Well,
I thought these were interesting choices.
Spoiler alert, and we'll get to them on the other side of the break. Spoiler alert. If you're listening with your fingers crossed and everything, John's not on the list.
I'm not
I'll
on the
just go ahead and
list.
tell you that. When we come back, 5 names who Dennis Dodd, who's locked in at CBSSports.com to everything college football, says would make sense to fill the CEO role of college football. That's coming up when Longshore and McKnight continues in a moment, presented by Bud Light.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market offers the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of Mexico with deliveries daily. Snapper, grouper, pompano, flounder, copia, along with medium, large, and jumbo shrimp, hand-picked crab meat, and chucked oysters. They can even cook your order for easy, quick pickup. The Destin Connection can make a po' boy with any of their seafood items that folks in New Orleans rave about. Go by and see them at 3750 Norman Bridge Road or call 288-4272 for pickup orders.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey, folks, you got to take advantage of the incredible holiday savings at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where they sell America's best-selling truck for 50 years in a row, the F-150. And you can get an F-150 at 1.9% APR for 60 months or up to $15,000 off MSRP and no payments for 90 days. Hundreds to choose from. Your F-150 is on the lot right now. Also, F-150 Lightnings, $15,000 off MSRP and 0% APR for 72 months. What about the stylish Ford Bronco? Up to $10,000 off MSRP, starting as low as $34,990. And it started it all with the Ford Explorer. You can get one for up to $8,000 off MSRP, as low as $33,900 and 1.9% APR for 66 months. Folks, Stivers Ford is loaded with cars, trucks, and SUVs priced to sell. Stivers Ford, 4000 Eastern Boulevard in Montgomery, where price sells cars. Okay, back at it live here on a Friday, about 17 minutes past the hour. Barry in Jonesboro, Arkansas.
Yep.
I'm in Washington, D.C., and we got a big weekend of sports action. Barry, it's usually about this time during the show that we reveal the Phantom's Daily Dog. The Phantom's Daily Dog. We got to get a dog sound effect, or maybe a dog coming across the picture barking or something.
Yeah, or maybe sometimes a dog graphic where he's hiking up his leg, but that's usually the day after.
Over a fire hydrant, exactly.
Yeah.
Like the Phantom's Daily Dog. Yesterday, Barry, we went to the association, the NBA.
Right.
We had the Golden State Warriors catching 6.5 at the Houston Rockets. If you'd like to check the score, go right ahead, my friend.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because the
Warriors
won the game outright. Yes,
How
they did.
Did he know? How
We talked
did
about that.
he know? Yeah, Warriors 108 to 90, 105 to 98 over the Rockets in Houston.
Yeah.
To get over 500. Now the Warriors are 28 and 27. It ain't been a great year, but they win by 7, which is a comfortable cover, I would say.
No doubt. I mean, you're catching 6.5. And you didn't even need it. You won the game outright. I will say, I know it's after the fact, Barry. I almost went Pels against the Kings last night, but I was a little hesitant on New Orleans. I'm just not where they ought to be. They win the game outright as an underdog at home at Smoothie King Arena.
And
my
overtime.
man C.J. McCollum pumps them in for 43 last night.
Yeah, it took overtime.
Fire.
They combined to score 173 points, so it was a real defensive battle.
How about that defense? You ready for tonight's Phantom's Daily Dog?
Daily Dog. Here we go.
Daily Dog. Here's the Phantom's Daily Dog tonight, 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
On Fox.
All right.
Tonight on Fox.
We have got UCLA, the Bruins, flying cross country to Bloomington, Indiana to take on the Hoosiers. Indiana is a 1.5-point underdog at home. We're taking Indiana plus the 1.5, hosting the Bruins of UCLA. Now, Barry, you're talking about a old school blue blood matchup. These two programs, a lot of history with these two schools.
My niece Ryan, she's my brother Mike's middle child. Mike's been a guest with us before. She has actually flown from her home she's in high school in the Los Angeles metro area, and she's spending 2 or 3 days in Bloomington with my sister Ginny. So she could have caught the UCLA team flight, man. Could have saved
kidding.
A little bit of money.
That's awesome.
Okay, yep. So there we go. All right.
Hoosiers tonight catching 1.5, hosting UCLA. The Phantoms daily dog for today. Okay.
Again, that's what we call it. It's every day.
Every day.
People have been asking for it. Yes.
Phantoms daily
There we
dog.
go. Okay. Now,
all right, so give us the list of the 5 possible college football commissioner / CEO for what we're going to call the Big Four.
I don't know. It seems like every time there's an administrative position in sports, Oliver Luck's name always comes up. I remember him from when he was a quarterback at West Virginia. He also, played in the NFL as a backup for the Oilers. He's been an NFL executive, former NCAA vice president. I think it was the commissioner of NFL Europe in the WLAF or something like that. He was also the athletic director at West Virginia. He says he's not interested.
So what's that tell you?
Yeah. John says, ding, ding, ding. He's interested. Now, they also bring up this name, Nick Saban.
Whoa, no way.
Saban's transition, and I'm quoting here from Dennis, Saban's transition to ESPN has been a revelation. Essentially, Saban has gone from GOAT coach to college football influencer. But like Oliver Luck, who Dennis Dodd actually reached heading out from his home to the mountains outside Denver to go ski, but like Luck, he enjoys his free time. Never used to have any. Last summer, Saban joked about Miss Terry harassing him on the golf course via cell phone. During last season, Saban put forth common sense solutions without making a spectacle of himself, Pat McAfee, on game day. He has become the game's voice of reason. If folks can get past his SEC background, a big if even for him, Saban would be perfect. But the sense here is that he doesn't need the money or the aggravation.
Barry, that last line, that last word was huge. I don't think Nick Saban wants to be aggravated. And if he's the CEO or commissioner of the college football, there's going to be points in time where he's going to be aggravated, and he's not going to have to deal with it. When he was the coach at Alabama, he ran the show. Whatever he said, they did it. There was no discussion. There was no back
He didn't have to reach any consensus or any compromise. He got to compromise on this. No, what he said it was done. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when he wanted a new addition to the weight room, it was already under construction before the board of trustees passed it.
Yeah.
To make it formal. I mean, yeah.
I'm telling you, he goes to the University of Alabama Board of Trustees and he says, guys, we need to break ground on a new weight room. Every one of them pulled a little trowel out of their coat pocket and says, okay, when should we start? No, you guys don't have to do it. You can hire somebody. Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
now
So
there is nothing more contentious with more points being brought together other than the environment where John finds himself this morning that is more difficult to reach compromise, I'm telling you, than a bunch of NCAA or college athletic administrators. He doesn't want it, man.
If Saban could run this like he ran Alabama football for 17 years, he might be interested.
But
if he's got to go through a bunch of committees and he's got to get this okayed and this passed and this guy,
if he liked that stuff, he'd still be coaching in the NFL. That's the reason why he got out of that. Well, anyway.
Is David Shaw, is he the former Stanford head coach?
Yeah, that's him. That's him. And I don't know why they love him. He's a great guy, very smart and everything. But, man, people love him for this stuff. Now he's the passing game coordinator for the Detroit Lions, and he just got that job. Up until getting his latest job, Shaw would have been one of the favorites for this position. He's accomplished and respected. Shaw outdid Jim Harbaugh at Stanford after taking over for him. Since Shaw left in 2022, the Cardinals haven't been the same. His words of wisdom regarding the game continue to resonate. Why do they have David Shaw with that sentence and not John Longshore? His words of wisdom regarding the game continue to resonate.
No kidding.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about David Shaw. Condoleezza Rice, and she gets named in that a lot, in that kind of a thing. Former Secretary of State. Rice grew up loving football in Birmingham. She never lost that love, becoming a world-renowned statesperson. Rice earned much respect from college football in general and in her role on the first college football playoff selection committee. Her college ties are to the University of Denver, Notre Dame, and Stanford. How was that for neutrality?
I thought that was a great line. I mean, you got a person that went to those three schools, particularly Stanford and Notre Dame, who play each other every year in football.
Yeah.
You don't have any, she ain't leaning one way over another.
Yeah, she has got the full spectrum right there. And this one, Rick Neuheisel, CBS sports analyst, as college football czar.
I don't know about Rick.
The former Colorado, Washington, and UCLA coach has established himself as a passionate advocate for the game's health. Whether it's on satellite radio during the week or on CBS sports platforms during the season, Neuheisel is one of the game's leading media figures. He has repeatedly shown he knows the issues. More than that, he has the respect of those in the game.
That was interesting because I've met Rick. He's been at SEC Media Days with the satellite radio. Nice, super nice guy, but
great guy.
Obviously very highly respected in the world of college football. I think it's interesting, Bear, that he goes on to say whoever gets the call, it is going to take a delicate threading of the needle in terms of credibility. Alma mater and possible conference affiliation will matter. That's why Greg Sankey is nowhere near this list. Do you think the other Power 4 commissioners want the SEC's head man judging them?
No.
Very interesting.
And the thing about Neuheisel, whether, passionate advocate for college football, who's not? He says, whether it's on satellite radio during the week, what? I mean, if being on satellite radio is a qualifier for being the college football CEO, why not Martha Quinn,
Wow, no
why not Nina Blackwood or Howard Stern or
I'd rather have Martha.
Jimmy Buffett. Jimmy Buffett's no longer with us.
I don't think Nina's aged well. I'll just leave it at that.
I don't know. I think she's in her 70s, and it's been a hard 70 years.
I mean, you're talking about somebody that's got a voice like she smoked 3 packs a day. Woo,
I mean, she sounded like the bailiff in Night Court since she was like 14 years old. I mean, she had that voice. What is it? 4 packs a day, Nina? 5? I don't get the Rick Neuheisel.
That was tough. Yeah, I mean, that was kind of a ribbon. They're going to throw Rick Neuheisel out there. How about, hey, hello?
Yeah.
Just saying. But, Barry, I think Dennis, a good friend of ours, had him on the show many a time. This is a really well-written piece. I learned a lot from it. But I'm as I read it, I'm thinking, are we getting closer to this? Is this kind of, I've been hearing about this. There's been a lot of chat, it's big media day kind of chatter. And then you kind of come home and you talk about it with other people and your buddies and whatnot. But to me, this piece kind of led me to believe, man, this wheel's picking up speed. They're wanting to do this. And there again, April, I think 7th, House versus NCAA, that's going to be a huge step. And if it goes the way they want it to go by July, and by the time we get to Atlanta for Media Days this summer, this is going to be a big talking point. And I think for the future of college athletics, I think they see it. They know it. They got the Big Four want to split. They want to go do their own thing. And that is really going to send shockwaves through the college athletics if they do that.
It'll be something definitely worth tracking. Like John and I have said, the last 5 years have been more transformative in college athletics than the previous 75 years.
Yes.
I mean, everything is happening. Stuff that we never thought would happen. You asked Longshore and McKnight at the beginning of our association together in 1997. If you say, hey, man, they're going to start paying players. No, they're not. Come on, really? They haven't figured out how to pay players efficiently in 100 years. You think they're going to find it now? Well, yeah, they are. They have. They've done it. Conference realignment was never a thing. When we were growing up, you had 10 teams in the SEC, and you liked it. The Big Ten meant 10. You had 10. The Big 8.
How about this, Barry?
You had 8.
We're really showing our age. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there was a point in time, there was a conference, and it was the Big 8. And I can even one-up you there. There was a Pac-8 at one time.
There was no Arizona. There was no Arizona State. There doggone sure wasn't any Colorado, anything like that. And we liked it.
That's right.
Things have changed so much over the last 5 years. Why in the world would you think Longshore McKnight would come in here and tell you, all right, they're done? All of those massive changes, those seismic moves they've made in college football, they're finished. They got everything they want. No. I mean, it's still, having a good player at quarterback, trying to hand off to a good running back on 3rd and short to get a first down. But everything else has changed. Everything else has changed.
Barry, I believe Monday, I think we're going to do this. I was talking to Mike Griffith of Dog Nation and the AJC.
Yeah.
He's going to join us Monday, I believe, to talk a little bit about this and some other things about college football in the spring. And I think you'll enjoy that. I think our viewers will as well. Griff's always fun. I mean, the thing with Griff, all we got to do is ask him a question. He'll talk for 15 minutes.
And it doesn't even necessarily have to do about Georgia.
So, Barry, I see you have attached the link so our viewers and listeners can check out Dennis's article. If on our chat line, you can go to it and click it, and you'll be able to read it. It's a great piece from our friend Dennis Dodd. Kind of is going to explain some things to you about what is in the works, what's going on. It looks, there again, is the Power Four going to become a reality? I don't know, but it certainly looks like it's heading that way.
Yeah, it certainly looks like there are a lot of people in a position of power that want it to happen. That's something we'll track.
All right, so when we come back, we'll take your thoughts and comments about that. We'll talk also about no state tax on NIL in the state of Alabama. There's some movement there. If I could get in to see Tuberville today, I'd like to ask him about that. Coach, what do you think? No taxes on NIL? I wonder what he'd think. Anyway, our man John Dent. It is Valentine's. This is probably better for Barry, but John wants to know the best Valentine's songs. Like when you're in the car heading out to dinner, you want to make sure this song's on the radio? I've got a few. I know this is right up Barry's alley.
Oh, yeah.
So, John,
the first one, obviously, and before we go to break, this is just the first one, top of my head. Of course, look it up on Google, kids. There was I think they were German or something, called Double. Captain of Her Heart. Double. As the day came up, she made a start. Couldn't wait another day for the captain.
Well, I'm going to give you one, Barry, and it's going to, everybody knows it. Everybody's heard it. It's extremely popular. But I'm going to throw that one out as one that you might ought to use because I actually saw it and heard it performed right here in the nation's capital in Washington, D.C. So I'm going to leave you with that one. But I got a lot of others that have just come to mind.
I can't remember whether it was that concert where John met current Arkansas State basketball coach and former Alabama assistant coach. I have a hard time keeping them all straight.
Well, I can tell you that was not it, but that was Kenny Chesney.
Okay. Well, it's okay. We know it's not a Kenny Chesney song.
Yeah, that was at Bank of America Stadium. And he was sitting, if you see him tonight or tomorrow, just say, hey, man, my co-host, said hello. You sat right in front of him at the Kenny Chesney concert in Charlotte. Barry, I got to think he would remember that.
Of course. Forget you? No, ain't no way that happens. And no, it ain't. The Valentine song is not going to be the classic Jimmy Buffett. Why don't we get? No, we're not doing that one. John is in Washington, D.C. I am in Jonesboro, Arkansas. We're both on location. It's in association with Yellowhammer News, Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to Banking Above and Beyond at Riverbank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. River Bank and Trust.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard. Until the other team scores. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus, copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
Glad to have you back with us here on another edition of Longshore and McKnight. We're both in different spots and probably different circumstances. I mean, Washington, D.C. is not very much like Jonesboro, Arkansas, but we're making it work here.
Yeah, what's the temp in Jonesboro?
Yeah, it's like 36 right now, which is odd to pack because when this trip also included, of course, the visit to Lafayette, Louisiana. When we got down there, it was 78 degrees. When we're up here, it's like 35, 36 degrees. So you have to pack two different sets of clothes, you know. So
it is 30 degrees. I'm looking right now, 30 degrees in the nation's capital. When I got off the plane last night, even in the jetway, I thought, "Woo, it's a little colder here than what I left." So yeah, you got to pack accordingly, no doubt. Okay, so John asked on our River Region Straw chat line. It is Valentine's Day today. We told you better head out to Marguerite's because if you come home tonight without a Valentine's gift, don't blame us because we've been Mary Ann's been telling you for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
right here on this very program, they're open. Extended hours, probably a little later today than normal because of Valentine's, but go by now, go by during lunch, after work, but do not come home without a gift from Marguerite's. Oh, I just hate to think.
Yeah. And it's all on you.
It is.
It's not, I've been so busy. No, she don't want to hear that. Or, honey, every day with you is like Valentine's Day for me. That has never worked at once ever in the history of time.
That's a nice one, but it isn't going to work.
No.
You're right.
No.
Okay. So you're getting in the car, you may be going to dinner, whatever you got planned for the evening. What music should be playing to let your loved one know how you feel about it? John Dent looking for a little romantic advice here on the show today. Barry, the first thing I thought of was Ambrosia. I don't know why Ambrosia came to mind.
Oh, yeah.
I know they had a lot of syrupy love songs.
Yeah.
You're the Only Woman, I believe.
You're the only one. You're the only.
Yeah.
Well, to me, there's only two names that really make sense immediately. One of them is England Dan, and one of them is John Ford Coley.
Yes.
When they went together, I'd really love to see you tonight, or
I'm not talking about moving in.
I don't want to change your life and all that. That's if you're not already married. Now, if you've got you young guys, and all you know is Kendrick Lamar or Drake or something like that, you want to impress her with the depth of your personality. You get in there, you throw her a little outfield, Well, no, the outfield's not good because Josie's on a vacation far away. Like Brian Adams.
Yeah.
She says her love for me would never die. But that
That's
would
a good
change
song,
if she
too.
ever found out about you and I.
Yeah,
No, you
you
don't want to head
don't
out.
be playing that.
No, that ain't good. That
Now,
ain't good.
I know probably the ultimate syrupy love song is something from Air Supply. I'm advised to not go there. I mean, that's just so drippy, syrupy. Just
Yeah. Especially if she's wearing those stiletto high heels on a nice dress,
Yeah.
because just think about how uncomfortable it would be for her to open up the car door and leave and walk back to her house in those high heels, because she would do it. She would.
Maybe on the way home,
Lost in love and I
after a few
don't know.
cocktails, and
Yeah.
she's feeling a little bit better and a little looser and, got a big smile on her face. Maybe then you throw on the Air Supply. But if you start the night out with that, she's going to look at you like, what? But maybe later in the evening, if you wanted to mix that in, it could be beneficial.
What?
Here, Barry, is one you're never going to lose with. You're never going to miss with this one.
All right. Pen poised.
There again, it is everybody knows it. Everybody's heard it. And I know it's been played at wedding receptions all around the world.
Yeah.
But if you drop in Faithfully by Journey at some point in time today, you're going to be in pretty good shape. Now, I mentioned one of my visits to D.C., I actually saw Journey at the Capital One Arena. And Arnel Pineda, who's the lead singer, has actually been the lead singer for Journey longer than Steve Perry was. Think about that. That's hard to believe, but it's true. When he belted that out, whoa. I mean, sheesh.
Yeah.
This guy's pretty close to old Steve. So there again, just put that in your folder, file that one away.
Yeah, with all of the fun we're having with this and everything, this is big time.
Yeah, you can't lose
get this one. Get this one. And you're gonna turn off. Don't turn us off. Give me a chance. Frank Sinatra, The Way You Look Tonight. Someday when I'm awfully low and the world is cold,
Barry,
I still feel a glow just thinking of you and the way you look tonight. Just all of your preconceived notions. He's been dead 20 years, whatever. When she comes out there in her tea dress or cocktail dress and she's looking pretty, she's feeling pretty, you open the door for her. You should do that all the time anyway. I do that for my wife. You open the door for her, she gets in, you talk about how pretty she looks.
Yes.
And that's the first thing whenever you're driving. And the way you look tonight. I'm telling you.
It's a mic drop. I cannot top that.
Yeah.
I mean, anything from the chairman of the board, you put the chairman of the board on, you're done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, Robbie from Greenville checks in. He's in a romantic mood. He says, Alabama 85, Auburn 80. Alabama is 17-0 when scoring 85 or more points. Keys to the game are rebounding, turnovers, three-point shots, and how the game is efficient. Jamar Broome and Chad Baker Mazara's ankles are key to this game from a health standpoint for Auburn. For Alabama, keys to the game are always rebounding, turnovers, three-point shots.
Sure,
it's
Robbie.
always the case. I love this. Alabama is 17-0 when scoring 85 or more points. So you're telling me the more points they score, the better their record is?
You're on to something, Robbie.
Crazy. Wow.
Now,
even a more solid recommendation breakdown comes from my buddy Neil Armstrong. He says, just put it on Yacht Rock.
Yacht Rock's not on except in the summer, Neil, because I love Yacht Rock on Sirius XM, but it only comes on during the summer months. And I do like Yacht Rock. Barry, you'd love it too, because they play a lot of Jay Ferguson, Pablo Cruz.
Ambrosia.
Ambrosia. They play a lot of that type stuff on Yacht Rock.
Oh, if they got Firefall, I'm in. I'm signing up right now.
Now, Ty,
it's a strange way to tell me you
love me. Sure. Now, Ty, I don't think putting anything on from Ted Nugent's gonna do you any good. I don't think
especially that one, especially that second one, Cat Scratch Fever, which I don't know. Wang Dang Sweet, what?
That ain't going to work for
No,
you. I
no,
don't think
no.
so. What was the other one? Oh, Holding On to Yesterday from Ambrosia. That's a good one. Ambrosia, I'm telling you, the lead singer from Ambrosia is talented.
David Pack is his name. That guy can dadgum sing. He actually wrote
Yes, he
that song.
can.
That's a great song from Ambrosia, underrated.
Is he still
Holding
with
On to
us?
Yesterday. Yikes.
Is he still
I don't
with us?
know.
I wonder. I don't
I
know.
don't
He is.
know,
He's
but
very talented.
I really,
So we
really
help you. We
liked
hope
him.
that we helped you out with some good Valentine's music.
David
for
Pack
your
is
evening
72
tonight.
years old. He'll be 73 coming up in July.
So
Yeah.
did we miss anything, Larry? Again, I'm not advising the air supply. I think it's just too a little syrupy. That's
Lost
later
in
in the
love,
evening.
and I don't know much.
I just don't know about them.
Yeah, you're
Ambrosia was
probably
good.
right.
You mentioned who was the one you mentioned? Not Dave Mason. England Dan and John
Ron
Ford
Ford
Coley.
Coley, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave Mason, if you put on "We Just Disagree," I mean, what do you want? You want an early bedtime? What are you talking about?
Yeah, so I think we've got it. I think this Frank Sinatra. It's hard. You can't top him. I mean, that's pretty good.
She's going to feel all
Okay.
dressy, and she's going to feel special. That's what the chairman of the board did. That's why all those old geezers used to always go see him in Vegas 7 or 8 times.
Yes.
There you go. So there you go.
Okay. I'm here in D.C. Barry is in Jonesboro, Arkansas, but the focus today has been what's going to happen in Tuscaloosa tomorrow at 3:00 Eastern Central Time, 4:00 Eastern.
Yeah.
And number 1 Auburn coming into Tuscaloosa to take on the number 2 Crimson Tide in Coleman. What do you think? Early indications are Auburn is a favorite. I checked some, FanDuel, BetMGM, some of those very highly respected and credible, regulated sports book offerings that people use. Unfortunately, you can't in the state of Alabama, but we're hoping that's going to change fairly soon. But will that be the number by tip-off tomorrow? That, I think, is going to be real interesting when that line comes out. What is it going to be? I still think Auburn's a slight favorite in this game tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's not as though this is nouveau. Bruce Pearl makes up the point. The championships in the SEC over the last 8 years have run through this state of Alabama, and it hasn't always been Nate Oates. And he points this out, Pearl does. Since 2017, Alabama and Auburn have won 8 SEC championships, either regular season or tournament titles. So, they're the 2 best teams in the SEC, which is not a surprise. I mean, they've been the 2 best teams historically in the SEC for the last 8 or 9 years, right? I mean, the numbers tell us that. But the 2 best teams in the country, we have reached that. That, to me, is another one of many things in college athletics that 15, 20 years ago, I would have never thought. Because John and I remember the Tony Barbie days.
Oh,
we remember the David Hobbs days and the Anthony Grant days when Alabama would be ecstatic if they scored 65 points in a game. Now they're scoring 85 a game. It's a lot different, and I'm here for it. Yes.
And Barry, I mean, Robbie has just given us stat after stat after stat this morning. How do you think Robbie's going to take the game in tomorrow? I mean, watching it with, in the living room, is he going to go somewhere? I mean, I wonder what Robbie's game day plans are for tomorrow.
He says, I'm thrilled Dan Schulman is calling this game. Love him doing Major League Baseball and ESPN and Toronto Blue Jays on TV. Schulman's my second favorite television broadcaster, even ahead of Joe Buck. I love me some Joe Davis. I love me some Dan Schulman. That is good. Robbie says, Alabama is number 6 in pace of play. Auburn is number 114. Auburn might want to pick and choose when they run. I look at it as the other way. I said, I'm thinking Alabama may need to pick and choose when they go in the half court, when they run their half court offense. If anybody is primed to have success against that Alabama dribble, drive and dish to the 3-point shooters, I'm not sure anybody can defend it well. It's amazing when it's working right, but I think Auburn has probably the best chance of anybody to do it. So even Chris the Bammer says the Aubs will beat Bammer. I don't know. A chance to sweep the series, to win both games coming up in late March? I don't think anybody will overreact. If Auburn does win that game, I don't think anybody will overreact. I mean,
I think you're going to see some message board fodder, which you knew that was coming anyway.
yeah.
But
they do have a special. If you're a Walgreens Club member, they do have a special buy one get one free with the QR code as a Walgreens Club member on Charmin Ultra Red toilet paper. Auburn fans, you might need it tomorrow night. I'm just saying. When we come back.
I'm with you. One quick thing before we leave, go. I don't see Alabama winning at Neville in 3 weeks. I don't think many people do anyway. Could, but I don't see it. I'm with you. I think tomorrow's huge for Alabama because I don't see them winning in 3 weeks. You don't want to get swept. Nobody ever does. So I think there's more pressure on Alabama tomorrow than there is on Auburn.
Well, we've got, when we come back, maybe a little bit of the wheel.
I think
it's Longshore and McKnight. Yep, Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Book tee time sooner. Save on every round. That's what you get with the 2025 RTJ Trail Card. Destination golf is closer than you might think. Buy a 2025 Trail Card and save every time you play. Plus, you will be automatically entered into the Trails Loyalty Program. Enjoy 10-day advance reservation privileges at each location. 11-day advanced internet tee times on rtjgolf.com and the RTJ app. Enjoy the benefits of a 2025 Trail Card. It makes for a great stocking stuffer, and you save on every round you play in 2025 on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry is an Alabama-based, family-owned and operated business that specializes in dry cleaning and laundry, serving the River region since 1941. There are 12 convenient locations across the River region. Find one close to you or call 481-1911 for free pickup and delivery. For 83 years, Central Alabama has trusted Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry. You should too.
Okay, back at it here. A couple of minutes to the top of the hour. Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Going to see if we can get that Victoryland 777 topic wheel loaded up. Spin that thing for Chris. Mal has chimed in this morning, Barry. Our friend Mal over in Atlanta, talking about the game. Looks like Auburn's got a couple of players that are near 100%.
Yes, that's going to be big. We already heard from Jason Caldwell yesterday that Broome, what he said, 65, 70%, but at least better than it's been. Chad Baker Mazzara, I don't know how close or what a percentage is. He said Alabama should be favored by at least 5, and I'm an Auburn fan. So, yeah, that's something certainly to check out, something to bear in mind.
Okay, I see the Victoryland 777 topic wheel kind of loosening up there. And let's get it up on the board. Chris, here you go, buddy. This is for you. Spin the Victoryland 777 topic wheel.
Oh, that's not annoying.
And where it goes, nobody knows. But, hey, actually, SEC 214. Well, today's the 14th of February. It's Valentine's Day.
Yep.
There are no SEC games today, Barry, but tomorrow, a full slate, and it's just not Auburn and Alabama playing tomorrow.
Yeah,
everybody in the league's going to be playing.
there's a bunch of good ones tomorrow in the SEC. As a matter of fact, that Auburn-Alabama game is one of a doubleheader on ESPN. Arkansas and Texas A&M and College Station at 11 on ESPN. And then at 3 o'clock, it's Auburn-Alabama on ESPN. And then Kentucky at Texas tomorrow night at 7 on ESPN. So an SEC triple header tomorrow. Also tomorrow, Vandy at number 5 Tennessee at noon on the SEC network, followed by number 21 Missouri at Georgia at 2:30. Ole Miss and Mississippi State play in Oxford. They're both top 25. They'll play on ESPN2 at 5, right ahead of the Troy, Arkansas State game up here in Jonesboro, beginning at 7 o'clock. And then the night game on the SEC network, number 3 Florida at home against South Carolina. So it should be
Full
good,
slate.
really good.
Yeah, some great SEC games. Troy as well, taking on Arkansas State. All right. Hey, how about that, Chris?
I like
One
it.
down. We got a couple of more to go. Let's go ahead and spin that wheel. Let's see what's happening. A couple of more to go. Victorland 777 topic wheel. And that one is pack your bag. This is dealing with Troy basketball. Barry's had to pack his bag.
Oh, my gosh.
Are there any laundromats or dry cleaners? Not as good as Jim Massey, obviously.
No,
where you can
not
go
up
get
here.
where you can go get some of your clothes cleaned if you run out when you're on these long road trips?
No, I've got to bring, extra broadcast equipment so I can do this show and everything. So I'm packing that in my bag. Last week I was gone for 5 nights, came back for 2 days, and now I'm gone again for 5 nights. I have got a suitcase that's about the size of a steamer trunk over here. And I mean,
Wow.
like I said, in Lafayette, it was 79 degrees. Up here, it's like 39. So you got to pack all different kinds of stuff and everything. John Dent wanted to know about my hats, how I keep them so pristine. Look, this hat right here is my favorite. If you look, there's a little bit of dirt to it. My wife keeps wanting to take it so she can get it washed and everything like that. But yeah, they aren't all pristine, but I like them. So
no, there you have it.
Well,
Perfect.
and we're back Sunday afternoon. We left Tuesday afternoon. We're back on Sunday afternoon, and then back at home for 2 games starting on a week from yesterday, next Thursday and next Saturday. Those are the final 2 home basketball games for the Troy men's team. So it is a busy, busy, busy time.
Boy, that it is. All right, Troy basketball there again tomorrow night. Arkansas State, Troy on ESPN
2 at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Awesome. Yep. All right, let's spin it again. I think we got time to maybe sweep the Victorland 777 topic board today.
Let's do it.
See what comes up next. 2 colors left, and we're going to land on blue, which is one a bet. How about this, Barry? One a bet. Did you see how much money was bet on the Super Bowl in legal? Nevada sportsbooks had a record-setting win on Super Bowl 59 betting results. Total win was $22.13 million on Eagles winning versus Chiefs. The previous record win was $18.77 million. Chiefs 49ers back in 2020. Total handle, that's the total dollars wagered, $151.6 million. How about that?
That doesn't seem like a lot.
It really does.
I mean, considering how many people were watching it, how much stuff you could have bet on.
Legal. I think that's the key phrase. Legal, because in Vegas, it is legal in the whole state of Nevada.
Oh, yeah. Okay. There you go.
So
Makes
legally, the Nevada sportsbook hold was they took in 14.6% of it. So they made a little cash on that. So that was the 6th all-time record. So there's been higher Super Bowls in terms of betting, but that fell in at the number 6 spot.
All right. Our final one.
The final one on the wheel. Let's spin it
Wrap
just to
it
make
up
it
here.
To make it official. Hard to believe, Barry.
It
we
is.
have really spent all day and we spent all week. if I'm not mistaken, the Daytona 500 Sunday.
Used to be the big deal. Used to be numero uno. And again, John has made the point. Having the Daytona 500 is like, starting the year off with the Super Bowl. Having the Super Bowl and then playing the rest of your schedule. It's weird. They've already gotten done with the 2 duels. They were on Thursday. Nothing competitive today. Daytona 500, Daytona International Speedway on Sunday at 1:30 in the afternoon from the Daytona International Speedway. I used to ask John this every once in a while about the Atlanta Braves. Or I used to ask a lot of the fans out there a little bit about this, about Alabama basketball. Can you name 3 Atlanta Braves? Can you name 3 members of the Alabama basketball? John, I'm telling you, I don't think I could name 3 NASCAR Cup drivers. I don't think.
This might disturb you, Barry. I hate to wrap the show up on a downer note for you. For me, I think I'm pretty proud of myself. I can name you 3 NASCAR drivers. I can't name you 3 Atlanta Braves players.
That is hard to believe. Who's favored? I'm going to have to look up. Is it Bubba Wallace?
Ooh, yeah,
Chase
it's been a while.
Briscoe. Now these are some. Bubba Wallace is a NASCAR name. Chase Briscoe, that sounds a little NASCAR-ish.
It does.
But who are some of these? Denny Hamlin. I know Denny Hamlin. Yeah, he's getting kind of long in the tooth. Ryan Blaney, Kyle Busch. Okay, I've heard it. Okay, I've heard
Barry,
of those guys.
maybe that should have been the Phantom's daily dog. I should have picked a dog NASCAR driver to maybe win it all at Daytona on Sunday. But hard to believe it is Sunday, and we just have not talked a lot about it. I know we're going to be talking a lot about on Monday here with Longshore McKnight, recapping the big basketball game tomorrow in Tuscaloosa. The entire SEC slate as well. We'll be recapping that. Everything that happened in sports, we're going to talk about it. We certainly want you to be a part of what we do on Monday as well.
Yeah, John in Washington, D.C. I'm in Jonesboro, Arkansas. We'll be back in our standard regular environments coming up on the Monday show in association with Yellowhammer News. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.